I'm gonna do.
It's 6 p.m. now. Got back from Asda ages ago actually, and yeah, got a few things. Got these lunch boxes. These were £2 each. They're quite nice and big. Clip lid lunch box. This blue one and this pinky one. They're nice. There's some trousers, shirts. These pencil cases were only 45p each. I would have got like fancier ones, but the kids don't really use them. They put all their pens and stuff in their pockets, especially the boys, so I just got them anyway, in case they ever feel like storing their stationery properly. I'm not sure if you remember, but in one of my earlier vlogs I showed you this little spider plant that was basically dead, and it was just about coming back to life, and it had like a tiny root growing. But it's grown quite well now, hasn't it? Mashallah. So I decided to make a big batch of chapatis using the chapati flour that I bought. So I used my stand mixer and basically added the chapati flour in batches to the stand mixer with some water. So it was just a chapati flour and some water to form a smooth dough. I think it took about 3 or 4 rounds to use up all of that 5 kg of chapati flour. The reason I wanted to make a big batch is because I don't like the preparation involved when it comes to chapatis. It's just a lot of effort. Usually our staple like side dish is rice in our house. Yeah, chapatis is a lot more effort, but I love chapatis or rotis. Yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'd love a chapati with this curry, and I can't be bothered like getting everything out to make it. So yeah, it's useful to have a big batch in the freezer. So I think I managed to make about 70 out of all of that flour. And yeah, so you mix the chapati flour with water, allow the dough to kind of settle for about 30 minutes. And I part cooked my chapatis, so literally just heated them on the tawa or the little pan, just so they're slightly cooked and they're easy to store in the freezer. And as you can see, they're like undercooked, so they require a little bit more cooking once you get them out of the freezer, and just kind of continue the cooking process until you kind of puff them up and make them into proper chapatis. If you want to make them into like paranthas, you can just add a bit of butter or oil. And yeah, I just stacked them using some baking paper or greaseproof paper, and I actually ran out of the one that I had, so I just stacked them in batches of like 8 or 10, like how many we're gonna have for a meal. So anyway, yeah, I'm just going about making my chapatis, and let's see how long they last. So far it's been about a week maybe. So there's all of the chapatis ready to go in the freezer. So I have actually used the frozen chapatis once or twice, I think twice now, and they cook okay actually considering they're frozen. So when you put it onto the tawa, it just carries on with the cooking process. They seemed a little bit hard at the edges, but I think if I add a sprinkle of water, that'd make it even better. So the days are getting kind of chilly now. We're going into autumn, or we're in autumn already, and I'm kind of enjoying the cozy vibes so far. So one meal that we had were these mini kebabs with some pasta. So I'm just mixing up all of the ingredients for the kebabs, which is what I normally use when I make kebabs, and I've just written all the ingredients on the screen for you. So add everything to a mixing bowl and then give it a good old mix until everything's really well combined. And then you can either deep fry, shallow fry. Ideally you should bake them or air fry, but I'm frying them. So I kind of wanted to make meatballs, but then I also wanted to make kebabs. So I did like a halfway mini kebabs, so like meatballs flattened really. So I made the kebabs first of all, and then I made the pasta. So I just added a load of diced veg to a pan with some oil. Added some mushrooms in as well. And then cooked that down a little, added some salt and oregano. Then I added in a tin of chopped tomatoes. And just cooked that as well for a couple of minutes. I boiled the pasta, and when that was cooked I added it to the veg and the pasta sauce, gave it a good old stir. Thought I'd add in some grated cheddar, some cheese as well. And that was a delicious weeknight meal, especially with the kebabs. So I bought this beautiful bunch of flowers from Lidl, and I thought it was perfect to get us into the autumn mood. Look at those beautiful colours. I also picked up some autumn veg from Lidl as well, and I thought they'd be perfect for decoration, and hopefully I'll turn them into a soup. Talking of soup, it really is time to get out your favourite soups, isn't it? One of my favourites is cream of tomato soup. I love my soup with some toasted seeded bread with lots of butter or olive spread. So I had this tote bag that I bought a while ago, and I've been meaning to make use of it. So I wanted to put it into a frame and have it on display because I like it and it's Friends themed. So we went to Poundland to see if I could find a frame that would be big enough for it. They've got lots of Halloween and autumn stuff, and I got a few toys for the kids. I looked at the books but I didn't buy any. If you've been watching my channel, you'll know I'm addicted to buying the books. So I went ahead and attempted to place the tote bag in the frame to make a nice little display. I didn't actually want to ruin the tote bag itself because in future I might want to actually use it as a bag. So I just kind of tucked the handles inside the bag. And just sellotaped any excess material at the back of the frame. No one's gonna know really, apart from you lot. So once it was ready, I just kind of placed it on the shelf. So now that autumn's here, what does that mean? That means it's time for crumbles, and most definitely an apple crumble. I was craving it, so we went ahead and made it. So I actually used some Bramley apples. So once I peeled the apples, I cut them into kind of big chunks, because once you pop it in the oven, you don't want the apple pieces to disintegrate completely. That's if you like a bit of like apple chunk in your apple crumble. I've got some caster sugar and light brown soft sugar, and I'm just mixing that together. So you take 2 tablespoons of the sugar mixture. If you want ground cinnamon, add it. I love ground cinnamon, so I added plentiful. So just mix that into the sugars and then sprinkle that over the apples. I use porridge oats for the topping, so I just put the porridge oats in a food processor. Once you've processed the oats, add to a mixing bowl along with the remaining sugar, and then you need some softened butter. And then just rub the butter by hand into the sugar and oat mixture. You can mix it with a spoon or a food processor again if you want to. And once everything's mixed, just top your apple crumble. And put it in the oven. So I like to serve my apple crumble with custard, especially at this time of year. Crumble and custard, yummy, mashallah, and it was actually really delicious. So when you've had a bit of a day out and it's fresh outdoors, when you come home, you either want a hot chocolate or a soup. I opted for a hot chocolate. I've got this mug that I bought a year or 2 ago, Matilda one, and I love it. This chocolate orange flavoured spread is perfect for a winter hot chocolate. So I lit the pumpkin candle that I got from Poundland, and to make the hot chocolate is so easy. So measure out the amount of milk that you're going to want. So if it's just for yourself, just fill the mug up to how full you want it with hot chocolate. And I put in a heaped teaspoon of the chocolate orange spread. So add in a little bit of milk to the pan first of all, make a little bit of a paste, add in the rest of the milk, bring it to the boil, turn the heat off, and then return it to your mug. Got your boiling delicious chocolate orange hot chocolate. And then top it with some whipped cream or whatever you want to top it with. Obviously this is not a daily treat because the calories are high, but it's really delicious and warming and comforting. And don't you just love daytime telly, especially the black and white movies? So now's the perfect time for lots of board games and jigsaw puzzles. I bought this board game recently, a City of Salford edition of Monopoly. I got it on offer and I can't resist a bargain. But yeah, we really enjoyed playing it, and I think I lost, but let's pretend I didn't. So it's perfect to get out your board games while watching a movie. And here I'm just sharing a recipe, a meal idea for a family. So we've got some chicken pakoras, and I also made some jacket potatoes. So I'm preparing the batter for the chicken pakoras. Once you've got all the coating mixed well, add in the chicken and then just fry them. I'm sure you could use an air fryer if you wanted. I'm sure they'd be alright baked as well, but I've not tried it, to be honest. Once I'd made the chicken pakoras, I made the filling for the jacket potato. So in case you're curious and you don't know how to make a prawn Marie Rose filling, this is what you do. Just some mayo, ketchup, lemon juice, mix it into the prawns, and you get this lovely pink sauce. And my husband really loves that with the jacket potatoes. I prefer a tuna filling with some cheese. And that was dinner one night. So with it being autumn and you've got the lovely fresh autumn air, the leaves changing colour, we've been going to the park lots for walks and just taking in all the beautiful surroundings. It has been quite grey and gloomy and it's rained a lot. We went into Lidl just to see what they had in stock and to do a little top-up shop. They've got lots of fun things in for autumn and for Halloween.
It's like I'm gone due. Perhaps you know.
Can't have a maple festival without. Only about 5 minutes to ponder. He'll be here any minute. Thanks for the
So I found the recipe for these spooky pumpkin cupcakes in this recipe book and I adapted it just to make pumpkin cupcakes. So I've actually never cut a pumpkin before. It was hard. Do share your pumpkin cutting or carving tricks in the comments. I don't know if I'll be buying another one anytime soon though, because I've got lots of pumpkin left over, which I'm hoping to use in like a pumpkin bread or loaf or something along them lines. I'm not quite sure yet. So once I'd cut the pumpkin, I prepared the fondant icing. So I was going to dye 2/3 of it orange and 1/3 of it green. So the recipe in the book, I adapted it a little because I didn't have some of the food dye that was required. So it said to use black icing, which I didn't have and I couldn't find in the shop. So I just used orange and green. It was actually really satisfying to dye the fondant icing. This is like an adult version of slime. So I shaped the little pumpkins and just used a knife to make the little carvings. It was actually really straightforward and fun. And they look pretty cute, even if I do say so myself. So after the pumpkins were prepared, I was preparing the ingredients for the actual cupcakes. So I grated the pumpkin. And I went ahead and added everything into a mixing bowl. I had a little bit of the pumpkin cake mix left over, so I popped it into a cake tin. So between me picking up the kids and allowing the cakes to cool, the kids managed to get into the cupcakes. One was missing and the others had been picked. So it was a good job. I was going to put some toppings on the cupcakes. I actually decided to mix the orange and green dye, and I think the powder, because I used a powder dye, it caused that kind of effect, which looks kind of interesting. And they actually came out really cute and they were really delicious, mashallah. Like I said, it's rained a lot lately and it's been really grey and gloomy, but it's lovely when you get in the house. get all cozy and wrap up warm. So we did our weekly shop midweek. One meal I cooked was this chicken meatball and egg curry. It was delicious and perfect for this time of year because it's got the eggs in and it's quite filling and warming. So all I'm doing is mixing the ingredients for the meatballs. And then I shaped the meatballs and placed them on a foil lined oven rack. And then I popped them in the oven to bake. For the sauce, I chopped some tomatoes and onions. I boiled the eggs and then went ahead and made the sauce for the curry. So the meatballs and the eggs were gonna go into the curry to have alongside rice or chapati. So I'm just adding a bit of water at this point. It could have actually done with more water or more sauce, but we managed fine. And then you simply add the garlic and ginger paste, the spices and salt. By this time the meatballs and eggs were ready, so I just sliced the eggs in half after peeling them, obviously.
It's like I'm gone due.
Then just place your meatballs and your eggs carefully into the curry sauce. Give it a bit of a mix, not too much, otherwise it might break apart, especially when you put the eggs in. And then I cooked it, I think maybe for about 10-15 minutes, not too long because everything's pretty much cooked in there. Garnished with coriander and served it up. For breakfast, we've been making a lot of eggs in different varieties, scrambled, omelettes, poached, fried. It's the perfect weather for having lots of eggs. On this particular morning, I diced a load of veg, cooked that for a little while on the pan. And then whisked some egg with some salt and a couple of spices. I added a little bit of heat with the chili flakes just to warm us up on the fresh autumn morning. And once the veg has cooked a bit, add in your eggs and on a medium-ish heat cook the eggs. And I usually turn the heat off before they're fully cooked, otherwise they might be a little bit too dry. So like this, they've still got a bit of moisture. I served mine with a bit of spinach and wholemeal toast, and it was delicious and a wonderful breakfast for the day ahead. So the parks again are looking absolutely stunning, and especially with the sunshine, the beautiful sunshine and the freshness, it's perfect to go for a walk for your mind and your body. So I baked a pumpkin loaf. I had some pumpkin left over from the one that I cut up last week. So I thought I'd use that to make a pumpkin loaf. So the recipe did call for pumpkin puree, either shop bought or homemade, which seemed a bit long-winded to make it at home. So I thought I'd just process the puree, and I used the tissue to soak up any excess moisture. So first of all, I added the dry ingredients, gave them a little whisk. And then just mix the wet ingredients, so the eggs and the sugars. Once the eggs and sugars were mixed together, I added the pumpkin. As well as some orange juice and oil, and I just whisked that in as well. And then it was simply a matter of adding your wet ingredients into your dry ingredients. And then I transferred the mixture to some loaf tins. I could have actually just put all of it into one tin, but I was a little bit worried that it would overflow. So I prepared another loaf tin just in case. Because you'll see once it baked, it didn't actually go right to the top, and all of the mixture could have easily fit into one, but I just didn't want to risk it. The chocolate chips are optional, so I popped that in the oven, and can't forget the washing up. So I put all the slices into a container, and hopefully it'll last for the next week or two. The rest of the week was made up with the shopping trips, so we went into town. It's just nice to have a little wander. Didn't need anything specifically, but we thought we'd go have a little sandwich and hot chocolate, and just see how everything's set up in town. the seasonal decorations. We did our weekly grocery shop at Lidl and Asda. And we visited B&M because we needed a couple of things. They've got some lovely fragrances in at the moment. Warm apple crumble, how nice must that smell? It would just make me really hungry, I think. B&M do some really lovely home decor, and I'm so tempted all the time to pick up loads. So Zaflora have some nice seasonal fragrances. At the end of the day, before you go to bed or after you've done your cleaning and you know you're not going to use your sink, boil some water, put the plug thingy in, add a cap full of the Zaflora and add some boiling hot water, and the steam will make your kitchen smell really amazing. Something I've really been enjoying for breakfast are these ready oats. So I love to have porridge for breakfast, but I don't like the preparation. It takes a little bit long. So a wonderful alternative are these ready oats or instant oats. So I literally just add the oats and the milk, pop it into the microwave for a minute or two. I like to top mine with some banana to keep me extra full. Any berries if I've got them on hand, so strawberries or blueberries. So once it's heated up enough, I just mix it together. Alternatively, you can put your porridge oats into a processor and make your own kind of ready-made ready oats, but this is just quicker. So I like to top with honey and some ground cinnamon, which is just perfect and delicious for this time of year. A visit to the park is a must at least once or twice a week. During our weekly shop, I picked up a bunch of flowers, autumnal colours again. I baked this delicious apple cake. Definitely one to try. So first of all, I'm peeling the apples. And then I'm removing the core. And then I thinly slice the apples. Once I'd sliced the apples, I poured over some lemon juice just to preserve them and set them aside. The rest of it's so easy, so you literally just mix in all the ingredients. Got the sugars, the butter, the eggs, the self-raising flour, and some baking powder and vanilla extract. And just whisk that all together. And then in like a large baking tin, layer the cake mix. So first of all, layer half of the cake mix. And then add a layer of apple slices. By the way, I used Granny Smith apples, in case you're wondering. Next, add the second half of the cake mix. Just try and evenly layer that on. And finish off with another layer of the sliced apples. And I'm just sprinkling on some demerara sugar for a little bit of crunch. So once you've baked the apple cake, allow it to cool for a little while. And then I actually made like a milk mixture just to make it more moist. So I've got some evaporated milk, some double cream and sweetened condensed milk. Just whisk that all together, and I'm using a toothpick to make some holes for the milk mixture to soak through. And I'm literally just pouring the milk mixture all over the cake. So I was trying to make like a milk apple cake. I didn't pour over all of the milk mixture. When you serve the cake, you can pour some of the milk mixture on afterwards as well. It doesn't look all that amazing, but it tasted really, really nice, mashallah. And everyone just gobbled it up. A trip to the library was long overdue. I reserved a book and I went to pick that up. before I let you go, I just wanted to share this chicken curry recipe with you. It's quick and easy to make an authentic chicken curry from scratch, and this recipe should be really easy to follow. So I've got 2 red onions that I've diced, and I just cooked the onions in some oil, then added a tin of chopped tomatoes. Obviously fresh tomatoes are best, but this is just really quick and easy. Then I've got a tablespoon of garlic and ginger paste. Again, fresh is best, but quick and easy. Salt and spices, add them in. Just stir everything together. If it sticks a little bit too much to the pan, you can add a bit of water. And then just add in the chicken pieces and cook for like 5-10 minutes until the chicken doesn't look quite so pink. Add in some water, and then all you need to do is bring it to the boil after stirring everything. Pop the pan lid on, cook it for about 30 minutes on a low heat, and there's your chicken curry, nice and ready, garnished with coriander. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care, salam, bye.